Good morning. Or hey, you're not saying anything, right? Is it my audio, or is just no one saying anything?
Mic check.
Check.
Ah, good. I think my mic was off, but I wasn't saying anything anyway. Don't worry. So Andrew says he's not going to be able to make the meeting.
All right.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just give Daniel and Cynthia. So Andrew is actually here. I guess we'll just give Daniel and Cynthia about 3 minutes, and then we'll begin.
So I'm in transit on the train. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to talk.
I'm sorry, pardon? Darius, I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
I think Andy said that he is on a train, and so he doesn't know how much he can talk.
Okay. That's all right.
Should we go ahead and get started? Good, Darius and I on.
Okay, I guess we can get started. Okay, so I expect this to be a quite short call. So mostly following up from on the things we had done last Friday. It's not been a long time since then. And then I also had a few questions. So can you guys see Firefox? Darius, can you see Firefox?
I see a browser with talk in it.
Okay, cool. All right, so so last Friday's key points were one, following up the partial search, like with 2 incomplete words. Unfortunately, I've not been able to get in touch with Payne about this yet. So I do need some help following this up, because I mean, I posted this on Monday. Yeah, and I haven't yet gotten any response. Yeah, but I spoke to Cynthia.
I wouldn't necessarily have expected Jonathan to be following closely enough to realize that he needed to reply to that one paragraph. I would try to send him a direct message. But also, I think Cynthia can help with that.
Okay.
I mean,
all right. I had let Cynthia know in the morning. I think I'll just remind her once more. Then the external mappings, this was finally completed. So this is now working correctly. Let me just jump to demo. So just get something like that.
Sorry, can you remind me again in words and quickly what was the bug that is now fixed?
Yeah, the bug was when you're creating external mapping. So like if you put a concept code here, it would not create any external mapping. You don't need to do that for internal mappings.
This was the not having a two-code problem, and right, so that the maps weren't actually being saved. So it's now being saved. Can you show us that this does save?
Yeah, okay. So if I update that, yeah. So if we go back, it's now saved. Is that okay? Andrew?
Yeah, can you also check to make sure that when you're doing dependent searches, in other words, where you brought over a set or something that had dependent concepts, that the external maps also come over for those?
So external concepts, so like, I'm not sure can we add references to external concepts? We cannot, right? Andrew, I'm not sure if I get.
Yeah, so I have to keep getting unmuted. So when I do this, so I thought the problem here was that we were not creating an external map. So SNOMED CT maps were not being saved when you created a concept. So now what you're now saying is that they are being saved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to make sure that it's also tested that when you create or when you copy over from CL a concept that has dependent concepts like a set or a question answer pair, that the answers or set members also have their SNOMED maps brought over.
Right. So yeah. So that is not okay. So let me try to. So when you say brought over, you mean references to those concepts were added as well, right?
Well, they're not. The target concept isn't there. It's just the map, right? So
Correct.
It comes across as a map with the SNOMED external ID.
Okay, so just it has to check that the mappings themselves are brought over.
Correct.
Okay, so I don't know if we do know any concept which has something like this, right? Narrower than.
Sure.
Okay. Shit, what's that? Okay, which one was it? Let's go with this. Okay. But I mean,
Why is that taking so long?
Yeah, there are quite a number of concepts in there. So what I'm trying to figure out is how exactly are we going to check whether the mappings have been added? Maybe because we cannot view in traditional OCL, like from demo.
Right. So it's only a pointer anyway.
Yeah. So yeah. Maybe let's just try it on QA.
We may have to look in the database.
No, let's just try it from QA. I'll probably.
See, that'll work too. All those should have SNOMED codes.
Pardon?
Any of those should have worked. They have SNOMED codes. Those Those dependent concepts.
Are we sure they are external?
Yeah, so I mean, if you looked at total cholesterol or high density lipoprotein, they should have an external map.
Okay.
But I think so what you need to check is that the collection has both a reference to the concept and a reference to its internal map or external map.
Yeah, correct. But so I'm sorry. So let me just get this clear. Can we have a reference to a concept which is external in a collection?
No.
No, we cannot.
Because there is no such. I mean,
correct.
You can have a reference to a map.
Yeah.
To an external concept, but you can't have a reference to an external concept because we wouldn't know what an external concept is. I mean, it's not in OCL.
Okay, so yeah, so for the map itself, sorry, for the map itself, I think it's this one here.
So not that mapping. That mapping just says that that's a member, but then also we need to check that there's like a mapping from total cholesterol to loink something, maybe.
I don't know. Is any of you guys in position to share your screens instead?
I'm walking to a bus stop, unfortunately.
Okay, so let's try this again.
But basically, if you find anywhere, if you view the collection in traditional OCL, and you look at the mappings in the collection, if any of them are to loink or SNOMED, or I think that probably is indicative.
Okay, let me see. Two. Now these are all seal. From seal. Yeah, so that's probably something that's not working right. Yeah, these are all to seal. Yeah, these are all internal mapping. Okay, so let me get time and just run through that and make sure that I can find where the source of that problem is coming from.
Yeah, but probably the error there is, it's actually something different probably, right? It's about when you recursively add concepts. When you recursively add those references to concepts, I had we've given some rules about when you recurse and when you don't, but actually, maybe we didn't clarify, I guess, what to do about the mappings. So,
but I mean, ideally for the mappings, we just use the cascade mappings parameter on the, so like while adding the concept itself, the collection. So those should be added automatically, like back inside. And does that make sense?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So I'll just need to check and see why that's not happening, or at least why it seems like it's not happening. Although I am not quite sure if the thing that we checked had any external mapping, so that would also be something. Yeah, so I guess, okay, so let me just look into that after this and then post and talk. Okay, so let's see.
Actually, I think what happened before was those concepts that had external maps weren't added at all to the collection because they errored on the map. So maybe if all the concepts show up now, then that tells you that they were able to. You didn't error on the external map.
So when you say show up, are you saying the counts in the notification being the same as the count like on the success notification?
Assuming that there weren't duplicates already in there for some reason, but yeah.
So, but again, we have to also take into account the, so like while counting those concepts, like during the recursive import, we also count external concepts, right? So that count will still be lower if there are external concepts because we do not add them. Does that make sense, Andy?
So you're counting a relationship map as a concept, even though it's just a map. In some cases, those actually bring concepts when they're internal, and when they're external, since they're not creating a concept, you still count it as creating a concept.
Okay, so let me attempt to rephrase. So while adding this is just like the finding, it's not really adding each, right? So at the end of listing them down. So okay, so probably what we could do is we could just modify that count to only show internal concepts. Would that be better? Because like while populating that count, we count external concepts as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're only creating the actual pointers to those concepts. I mean, the number of concepts that end up in the collection are only the ones that are directly in there or internal concept maps. The external concept maps are just maps. They're not actually bringing the concept with them.
Yeah, that is correct.
Lincoln, I wonder, do you mind actually sharing on the thread a link to the code itself around that sort of recursive adding? And
yeah, no problem. Let me just jump to that.
I'm not going to have a chance to click on it right now, but I intend to peek at it later.
Oh, all right. That's all right. Okay, so I'll share it immediately after this. Okay. Okay, so the next thing was okay, so that checking that the index term name type was supported by the OCL subscription module. It was not, but we found where the issue was. Sorry, what we needed to add for it to be supported. So that ticket is up. I believe it's like work on it is in progress. Then yeah, the rest was making sure the documentation and requirements on Jira were well described and documented. I'm still doing this. I'll be done by the time I leave this week. Okay, and then the rest were just the UI changes. But before we go into this, since they are slightly more trivial than these, I was wondering if you had a chance to look at this, Darius and Andrew. So I had a few concerns about this page, and then this page, right? So last week when we added quite a bit of data to the deployments, it was getting quite slow, and that is because first of all, on this page we fetch all your dictionaries, and then we fetch them like verbose so that you can get this like concept count. So I guess the question is, so for example, for this page, I wonder how many dictionaries someone could possibly have. So like if they could have more than 20, for example, this page might get a bit laggy.
I would expect power users to have to have 20. I could imagine some, like most people would have fewer than 10, but some power users could have more than 20. You had also asked the question about memberships in organizations. I would think it would be very unusual, like almost never happen for someone to be in more than 5. Like when I was sort of actively working at most, I might have belonged to maybe 3, I imagine, organizations, if this tool had been around then, and that would have been a lot.
But each organization might have like multiple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, you might imagine some users might reasonably have more than 20, although still the common pattern would be less than 10, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's important that this page is paginated, right?
I mean, yeah, well, it has to perform adequately. I don't know if pagination matters as much as you said. The queries are like slow because you do them verbose to get the count of concepts.
Yeah.
I actually think that the count of concepts here is not super important. If you could do a query that was faster and just show the description, I think that's probably fine.
Okay.
Like if that's the concern, that specifically getting active concepts makes this query slow, I don't think that's a hard requirement to show here.
Okay. Then for this one, so this page I believe will have, quite a bit more, right?
Correct.
So for this, okay, so the second issue with this page is, so right now we do, so like I had mentioned, we do the filter for OpenMRS validated dictionaries on the front end, right? So the query first fetches, saying it out loud is, so like the query first fetches all collections, and then it just like doesn't show the ones that we cannot manage. So, that makes pagination difficult. So I was wondering if it would be possible to sort of like display all of them, but then like gray out the ones we cannot manage. Or if that, like, would that make sense?
Well, I think you're just not showing them now, which is the correct behavior. I don't think people need to see, for example, if in the traditional OCL, someone has created an indicator registry or something, there's no, for the Western province of Ethiopia, there's no reason that we should show that here grayed out. So I guess what I would say is, so if there's specific things that the backend doesn't support the query that you need to do, I would create a ticket for the backend to add that query. It doesn't have to be super high, like, have a workaround in the code here, like what you're doing now, where you just filter and then ask for the backend to add support for filtering based on the validation scheme. And then, when that eventually gets added in the backend, then the front end team that's working at that point can.
Yeah. Okay. So my concern with the filtering on the front end right now is tending towards more, how can we utilize the pagination provided by the API, right? So if you fetch, say, 100 collections at a go, and you find, like, say, I don't know, half of those are not OpenMRS validated, it makes it hard for us to paginate this page, like to paginate the API calls, because we do not know how many of, like, on each call we shall be able to display. I don't know if I'm making sense there, yes.
You are, but I don't think that it would be a better user experience if you showed 50 results, or 100 results, but 50 were grayed out, versus just showing the 50. Like, I don't think that would act. I agree that it would make the pagination easier. I don't suppose you're using a widget library that has like an infinite scroll thing that would just automatically, like, because if fetch more as needed to fill out the viewport. That would take more work.
Yeah, that take more work, but but even if we had that, I still do not. Well, I don't know if I'm not being creative enough, but in this case, I'm still not seeing how we would, like, achieve that. Okay, so
so I guess I would say, if there are, what, I don't actually think it's, so the search, is that client side or server side?
Server side.
So if there are many of these, then it's really the search that matters, I think, or else, like, actually navigating them by owner might also be helpful. I don't think it's not actually, I don't think it's actually an MVP requirement to even be showing all of the public dictionaries here. It's nice.
Okay.
But
yeah. Okay, so I guess what we could do is we'll probably need to ask the backend guys, probably Paint, to like deploy with the data which was there last week, so we can see how yeah, like whether we might have any issues from this particularly. Yeah, so in the meantime, I guess
yeah, I guess I would say as long as the search works, and and you could do some sort of hacky thing where you only show the first page of results. Then you just give some indication like that there were more results, but they couldn't be fetched or something. That might be okay.
Okay.
Or like you could even have like something at the bottom, like showing 1 through, showing 25 of many results, search to see more.
Okay.
Just as like a sort of quick fix.
Okay. All right. Right. So apart from those two, yeah, unless there are any other questions, I think we can move on to the UI things.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so that's why I need to jump to this. Sorry. This thing has not been deployed. I don't know why. Sorry about that. 662. Okay, so let's jump to that. Okay, so the concern last time was around the spacing here, Andrew, and then the titles, and then like making it look like it's on a single page. Yeah.
This looks better. It looks like they're all on the same part of the page.
And is the spacing fine in between there?
Yeah, that looks good.
Right, and then for the second one, so this color is not really like the final thing, but I'm just trying to see how this would, like look sort of to you guys. I mean, the key point with this ticket was just making sure that these colors are in like one single location. So whatever color that we decide on, like can just be swapped out. Yeah, but I was wondering what this looks like.
I think on this screen itself, it looks like doing zoomed out on my phone. It seems like having the black text on that. I mean, it's not a. I think it works better with white text. It's probably like as a color, it's a little bit too close to the middle of the range and therefore like. Anyway, but yeah, so I think white text on it it needs to be white text rather than black.
Okay, cool.
I noticed that you had those retire buttons highlighted, or not highlighted, but they were colored red.
Yeah.
You were looking. I didn't like that.
Okay, so that should
very much.
So it should be the same as the edit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
but having all of the color configured in one place rather than
like many places.
That's great.
Okay, so I guess that should be it for this particular call.
I remember there was a bug around the clear all in those data types and classes, or did that get fixed?
I actually don't think I got that down. Yeah, there was a thing of when two was selected.
Maybe Boolean was staying selected or something like that. I forget.
No, I remember it was when when we're searching for Boolean. I think it was Boolean, and there's one of these guys here. And it was on demo? I think it was on demo. I think it has something to do with. That's interesting. No, I actually forgot to note that down. I'm going to get time and also try to replicate that. But yeah, thank you for that.
No problem.
Okay, so so I guess what's left is checking why the external mappings are not showing up. The count indicates only the count the notification is like while adding still concepts, so that like we don't confuse the user by counting the external concepts as well. Then sharing the link to the recursion code, then dropping the verbose on the main page so that becomes faster. And then retire should not be read, then replicating that error when multiple things are selected here. I think other than that, it's just making sure that the name types thing is added as well. Other than that, I think we should be good to go. So by the end of this week, we should be done.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Lincoln. So is this our last catch up with you before you roll off? And
I don't know if it's necessary for us to have one more on Friday. If you guys feel it is, we can have one more. But otherwise, it would be.
Friday's a holiday for me, and I'm not going to be available.
Okay.
So, hi, this is Cynthia. I've just finished a call with your team lead, Trust, and he mentioned that you guys are still available until next Friday, which is the 12th of July. So I need you to confirm with him what you have decided, because I think you need to ensure that you are finished, and at least we can actually agree that the product is ready to be released to the community.
All right, I agree.
Yes, so I need us to have one more week of time and ensure that it's ready for the community next week, so that rather next week, Wednesday, should be our last call with you.
Okay, all right.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Right. Sorry. So Cynthia, I think.
Yes.
I lost audio for a little bit, but I guess that means we need to more properly try to push for some user acceptance testing again.
Yes. Yes. So I think what is important is that if Lincoln, your team can conclude whatever it is that they need to finish as soon as possible, like today, tomorrow, and today is finished, so literally tomorrow and Friday, so that by Monday, then you are ready to go to another second round of user acceptance testing. When we meet on Wednesday, if there's anything that's outstanding, we will then make a decision whether we need to fix it in that week, or if it can be fixed in that week, we do so. And then if not, then that has to go in as a ticket for the next group coming in.
Okay. All right, noted.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Lincoln. So confirm with Trust, but I do believe we are meeting next week. Please ensure that you have finished everything and release it to the community for further testing. And then we will meet next week and then now decide. But please ensure as much as you can, finish what you need to. We are just really waiting on this now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
As a just a small addition, as just please help me follow up the such thing as well with pain.
Okay. Can you send me? I'm on the email. Just send me that exact thing and let me forward it to him. It could be that they have gone for the summer holiday. Week we will not probably get any answers. We're more likely to hear from people next week.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So that one, I think maybe we should make a decision about. Is it something that affects the output in its totality, or its in entirety?
It's not something that breaks the application, but it's just better user experience for him to be able to search better.
Okay, so you just send that information to me, and only just because I have a number of issues that I'm looking at, so I want to keep track of it. So you send it to me, I will send it to him. Whatever it is, we will take it up next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you too, and thanks, Darius. All right, that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think that's it for the call.
Okay, great. Please share the recording also.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.